here we go. What is going on? It is your podcast host, Nate Larry of The Talking Block, and I'm back. I'm glad that you're back for another podcast episode. Little disclaimer, last week I put "as it comes to an end." That was the title of last week's podcast. I do want to let everybody know I'm not ending the podcast. I was just talking about the NFL season and how it's coming to a close. I mean, you would know that if you went to go watch the video. So if you did, kudos to you. And if you didn't, well, I mean, you're watching this one, so now you know that I wasn't talking about closing the podcast, but just about the NFL season. But it still never hurts to go watch and listen. Other than that, I just, again, appreciate you guys for taking the time to listen. Back with another week, back with another kind of wonderful topic, another wonderful poem, news, black news, all the above. I will tell you guys that it is going to get a little crazy because now that the NFL season's gone, I have to figure out things to talk about. I have to bring people back up here. Not saying that I'm upset about it. I'm just, there's a lot more planning and meticulous thought that goes into it now because scheduling between my job, their life, my life, and all the above. So yeah, it's gonna get a little hectic, but we're gonna get through it. We're gonna make content. Please do let me know if you guys want to do vlogs and stuff like that. I'm not that type of, I don't want to be that type of podcaster, only because I feel like that's not what I was looking for when I first started YouTube. But I mean, even though that's kind of how I started, but that's not what I wanted to go. That's not the route I wanted to stay on forever, which is why we're here now. But if you guys want to do vlogs, if you want to do Q&As, if you guys want to do that stuff, please let me know in the comments. Comment down below what you guys would like to see. This is about you. This is about us being a community. So please let me know what you guys would like to see. Also, I will include that you probably will see me fidgeting with the microphone a lot. I've went back and watched a couple of videos and I realized that the sound was a little questionable. Again, I'm still figuring it out with the microphone stand. Being able to talk with my hands is a lot better, but at the same time, I want to make sure that you guys are able to hear me clearly and concisely. So if you see me messing with the microphone stand, it's so that you guys can hear me. But without further ado, let's get into Poem of the Day. The title of the Poem of the Day is I Too, and it is by Langston Hughes. We've read a couple Langston Hughes poems before, so we know what he's about, but never hurts to read another one. This one goes like this. I too sing America. I am the darker brother. They send me to eat in the kitchen when company comes, but I laugh and eat well and grow strong. Tomorrow I'll be at the table. When company comes, nobody I'll dare say to me, eat in the kitchen. Then, besides, they'll see how beautiful I am and be ashamed. I too am America. I'm going to read that one more time. I feel like I read that wrong the first time. So, I too sing America. I am the darker brother. They send me to eat in the kitchen when company comes, but I laugh and eat well and grow strong. Tomorrow I'll be at the table. When company comes, nobody'll dare say to me, eat in the kitchen. Then, besides, they'll see how beautiful I am and be ashamed. I too am America. I think that this one is plain and simple. I did read it wrong. The second stanza, instead, I think I forgot what I said, but it was not it was not the correct. It's nobody'll dare say to me. But Langston Hughes is basically, he's saying, especially what we're living in now, is that everybody, no matter where you are, is America. We are the American people. If you're born here, if you live here, if you're an American citizen, you are America. It doesn't matter the skin tone, doesn't matter your hair color, eye color, whatever the case may be. Of course, you know, back in the day when it was whites only, coloreds only, it was coloreds couldn't be here. So say a house party, coloreds had to go somewhere else away from the whites and, you know, dine there with their fellow black people. But Langston Hughes is saying now, hey, that's not the case. Nobody will dare say tomorrow, like today you can have it. I'll go eat in the kitchen, but I best believe I'm a digest and I'm gonna get stronger. And not to say that we're still talking about the kitchen, but you know, today might be the day that somebody says, hey, you don't belong here. That's fine. But tomorrow, best believe when I come back, I'm gonna be a lot stronger. I'm gonna be a lot smarter. I'm gonna be a lot faster. And you're gonna see a whole new me. And I'm gonna belong here is what he's saying. He says, I too am America, and we are America. If you do not know about Langston Hughes, let's read a little bit about him. Langston Hughes. Well, let's be clear. Let's be clear. James Mercer Langston Hughes was an American poet, social activist, novelist, playwright, and columnist from Joplin, Missouri. One of the earliest innovators of the literary form called jazz poetry. Hughes is best known as a leader of the Harlem Renaissance, born February 1st, 1901, died May 22nd, 1967 at the age of 66 in Steel Westvent Polyclinic. His education is Lincoln University. Plays he's made is Mulatto, Turbans to Glory, Mule Bone, Black Novity, Jericho, Jim Crow, Simply Heavenly. And yeah, what is he known for? What is he most famous for? Langston Hughes, 1902, 1967, was a primary poem, playwright, essayist, and social activist. He was a central figure in Harlem Renaissance, a period of flourishing African American culture in 1920s. Hughes is known for his work that focused on the lives of Black working class. If you don't know what the Harlem Renaissance is, I'm not going to go into detail, but I will go into slight detail. Harlem Renaissance is where you had Black Wall Street, where you had every Black person being successful. And the only reason that it ended is because the white people were very upset. They felt that the Black community was making a little bit more and achieving more than the white community themselves. And that's when, and this is also around the time that, you had the Red Scare, 1920s. If you know, the most famous one, I believe, is Tulsa, Oklahoma. That's where, you had, that Tulsa was very rich in community for the Black people. And one day, just a ring goes around the town, and eventually white people come storming in, burning houses, tearing down businesses, and killing Black people. But the Harlem Renaissance was in New York, and that's where the Black Wall Street happened. And that's also just where a lot of Black people, such as Langston Hughes, were going very far in life and creating a name for themselves, creating business, creating a culture for the Black community at a time that was not allowed. But that is all I got for Poem of the Day. Poem of the Day by Langston Hughes was I Too. On to the fun topic in the podcast, ESPN on the Talking Block. Only for a little bit, but probably the last one for a while. Super Bowl. Let's talk about it. I think that the Super Bowl went a lot better than I would have thought. Eagles came out on top. Fly, birds fly. I'm not an Eagles fan, but I do know that is what they say. 40-22. Kansas City Chiefs just looked terrible. I know Kelsey had maybe like one or two catches. DeAndre Hopkins, terrible game. Honestly, I'm not even gonna sugarcoat. Terrible game for him. Pat Mahomes, terrible game for him. Andy Reid and staff just looked puzzled the whole time. A whole bunch of memes are going around with Pat Mahomes' little pouty face, as he should have been, because Eagles were tearing the Kansas City Chiefs apart, offense and defense. Jalen Hurts with a couple deep balls. I know one straight to DeAndre Smith, straight into the end zone. AJ Brown had a good one. But I really do got to give it to the defense. Defense is what held the game together. I forgot how many sacks. Let's snap. Let's see. I don't know. I don't recall how many sacks there were that game, but I know that it was a lot. Let's see, player stats. Yeah, 2 interceptions. No. That's not what I want to see though. Rushing, receiving, defense. Okay, so there's 2 sacks right there. 2.5. So that's 4.5. 0.5. We'll say that's like 5. So possibly like 4 sacks in total. 4 sacks on Pat Mahomes that game. And that's just really what solidified it. And then not to include just the ongoing interception that Pat Mahomes was throwing that were ridiculous. But yeah, Eagles came out with the win. They are our 2024-2025 Super Bowl champs. And next year, we will be playing in California. So we'll see who goes up on that. As for the halftime show, Kendrick Lamar did his thing. My wonderful favorite superstar came out, SZA, and a surprise appearance from Samuel L. Jackson as Uncle Sam. A lot of speculation and a lot of talk is going around on TikTok, Instagram, even on TMZ in the Shade Room, how Lamar Jackson, Kendrick Lamar was honestly not just speaking about the music, and it is absolutely true because he said it wasn't just about the music; it was a lifestyle that they were living, and he was speaking about some subliminal messages that people were catching on to was what was going on in America. Of course, Donald Trump being there, so many people think that has something to do with it. He played his diss track, which caught me by surprise. Not to say that I didn't think that he wouldn't do it, but I think in the sense that because I didn't think it was just about the music, I didn't think he was going to do it, knowing that he might. And he said that people love to sue. So like there's so much that you like literally have to go back and watch for yourself. But between just his symbolism with the broken America, his dish to Drake, Serena Williams popping out during Not Like Us, because if you know, Serena Williams and Drake had a past relationship. Uncle Sam, SZA, the good things, the bad things. It was a really good halftime show. Of course, also on TikTok, as I was scrolling, you've seen conservatives like, this is a terrible show. I don't get it. Not to speak too much about politics, but a couple of Trump followers were like, this is just, I'm not understanding. I know one that caught my attention was reported by a female, and she was just saying this Super Bowl halftime needs subtitles. And I was like, it doesn't. It's pretty out there. Kendrick Lamar definitely gave us a blueprint of everything he wanted to say. So yeah, but it was a really good halftime show for me. I enjoyed it. I know many people enjoyed it. It was also set in stone that in the history of Super Bowls, that this was the most watched halftime show. And you have to think about it. Michael Jackson stood there for 2 minutes and had people screaming for 2 minutes. Yeah, let that register. I think Michael Jackson had 13.4. Kendrick Lamar had 13.5. Is it a big margin? No, but that's like 0.1 more people that watched Kendrick Lamar than that they did Michael Jackson. But that's all that doesn't matter. Kendrick Lamar has set himself in stone for Super Bowl history for the most watched halftime show. And that's all I got on ESPN on the Talking Block. As for what's going on in the world, what's going on in your community, we're going to stay local.
Audio Jungle.
This is still registering in my head because I live in a small town, military town, here in North Carolina. But it's not what it is, it's just how it was done. Richland's drug bust net over 1,300 grams of meth. A Richlands man and woman were arrested on multiple drug charges after a 6-month multi-agency probe resulted in law enforcement seizing more than 1,300 grams of methamphetamine, 5 grams of fentanyl, guns, and cash. William Feliciano, 42, of 2250 Wild Geese Lane, Lot 6, was charged with 6 counts of felony trafficking methamphetamine, 2 counts of felony maintaining dwelling for a controlled substance, 2 counts of felony possession with intent to sell and deliver a Schedule II controlled substance, 2 counts of felony trafficking heroin or opium, 2 counts of felony manufacture methamphetamine, and 2 counts of possession drugs and paraphernalia, according to Trevor Dunnell, Onslow County Sheriff's Office Public Information Officer. Canetta Star Dearborn, I think that's how you say her name, I don't know, of the same address, 250 Wild Geese Lane, Lot 6, was charged with 3 counts of felony trafficking methamphetamine, 2 counts of felony maintaining a dwelling for a controlled substance, 2 counts of felony possession with intent to sell and deliver a Schedule II controlled substance, 2 counts of felony trafficking heroin or opium, felony manufacture methamphetamine, and 2 counts of possession drug paraphernalia. The 6-month investigation by an Onslow County Sheriff's Office Drug Enforcement Unit involved collaboration with multiple state and federal agencies. On Thursday, February 6th, Onslow County deputies, along with a Naval Criminal Investigative Service Special Operations Unit, Jacksonville Police Department Special Investigators Unit, and Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, executed 3 drug-related searches warrants at 250 Wild Geese Lane, Lot 6 and 7, and 400 Duncan Road South in Richland. During the operation, law enforcement seized about 1,343 grams of methamphetamine, 5 grams of fentanyl, 5 guns, one of them which was reported stolen, a 2017 Ford Fusion, and $6,792 in U.S. currency, Dunnell said. The searches resulted in investigators arresting Feliciano and Dearborn. Feliciano and Dearborn were booked in Onslow County Detention Center, with each receiving $2.5 million secured bond. Onslow County Sheriff Chris Thomas said the arrests are significant in the department's efforts to rid the streets of illegal drugs. We will continue to work alongside our local, state, and federal partners as our top priority is safety and well-being of citizens. Yeah, that's what's going on in my small little military town. Again, I'm not surprised. It's just how you got to think that in such a small town, where are we finding these suppliers? Which means that I'm pretty sure they're not from here. And it just makes me think, how many other people are out here doing this? Who are their partners, And I only say that because it's getting a little scary. I know that when I was in high school, there were people doing these things. So it's like, with that much, who are we touching bases with? And are these children figuring this out? And are they getting their hands on this stuff? Are these people, just out here doing this in front of children and then passing it on to them? It's just a whole bunch of food chain type of stuff, like one leading to the other, children this, children there, people this, people there, and making sure that, again, our city stays safe. And that's about it. Again, I'm not surprised. It's a little concerning with that much, and who is getting their hands on this stuff, and hopefully not the children of this community. But that is all I got on the news. As for Black news, let's keep it a little positive, and let's talk about the story of two Brooklyn sisters who forged a family of first. Forgot where my stamp is, so don't mind me, but we're going to talk about it. New York, a peaceful playground in Williamsburg bears the name of Sarah J. Tompkins Garnett. 2 miles away in Dumbo is a park after Susan Smith McKinney Stewart. These are not the only places that bear their names. A school in Fort Jean and another in Prospect Heights are also named after them. Who are these women who left such a mark on Brooklyn? Dr. Susan Smith McKinney Stewart was the first Black woman to practice medicine in New York State, graduating as a valedictorian and opening a prosperous office in Brooklyn. She's working as a teacher, and it's her own income that is paying her way through medical school, says Dominic Dean Lewis, chief historian at the Brooklyn Public Library Center of Brooklyn History. Her older sister, Sarah Garnett, became the first Black female principal in New York City public schools. It's easy to understand they become trailblazers in their field and also become national and even international symbols of what Black women are capable of, Jean Lewis tells CBS News New York reporter Hannah Kilger. Quigler? I don't know. It has everything to do with the special circumstances of Brooklyn's Black community, and specifically Weeksville, that is creating such excellence. Jean Lewis says a look at their early life can provide hints at where they took their inspiration. They were born in Sylvanus Smith, a prosperous hog farmer in Brooklyn's Weeksville, one of the first free Black communities in the United States, founded in the 1830s. At its peak, it was a thriving, self-sufficient Black neighborhood full of businesses, churches, and schools. The world they're growing up in is a world of Black uplift, right? Where people are not only trying to do well for themselves, trying to achieve in a world that has obstacles that are specific to Black people, but they're also trying to uplift their neighbors, Jean Lewis explains. Regina Robbins is tour educator at the Weeksville Heritage Center, where several original houses remain, along with collections celebrating prominent residents. People were drawn here not merely by economic necessity, but also by a desire to be part of a majority Black community, which was essentially unheard of in the United States at the time, he says. Mrs. Garnett and Dr. McKinley Stewart went to London in 1911 to present a Universal Racist Congress to promote interracial harmony. Dr. McKinney Stewart specialized in childhood disease, co-founded a hospital, and later in life ventured out west with her second husband, Theophilus Gold Stewart, a U.S. Army Buffalo soldier of the 1st All-Black Army Regiment. Her great-granddaughter is late actress Ellen Hawley, America's first Black soap opera star who died in 2023. It's very special when someone recognizes your work, Hawley said in 2004 interview, recognizing her contributions to the history of TV. Both sisters were also involved in the women's suffrage movement and helped create an equal suffrage league. which worked to abolish the gender indiscrimination in the late 1800s. Once abolition was achieved, a lot of those allies kind of went away, and you had women standing there asking, well, what about us? So women like Sarah and Susan took it upon themselves to take up the mantle for women's suffrage. Robin explained. Among the idyllic hills of Brooklyn's historic Greenwood Cemetery are two graves, step away from each other and resting places of both sisters who desire to educate and heal their community. That is what I am talking about. Black excellence in its prime. We thank Dr. I want to make sure that I have the name right. Dr. Susan Smith McKinley Stewart and her sister Sarah Garnett. I did not know about this actually. This is honestly the reason why I love Black History Month. It's so much about learning. It's so much about figuring out different things and the people that set up my success, honestly. And I just thank them for what they have done, just being a trailblazer, a pioneer in such a time that they live. And I will continue to carry on their legacy in everything that I do as a Black male. Although I might not be a female and our journeys are too different, it's never going to take apart from the fact that we are all, well, not all, but me and both sisters are Black, and we still have a long way to go to get to where we want to go, where Dr. Martin Luther King saw, where Malcolm X was fighting for, George Washington Carver, Frederick Douglass, all of those greats, Harriet Tubman, Rosa Parks, every single person that has fought, even to Langston Hughes and Maya Angelou, them just sharing their literary art and talent gift in a way that still projected Black civil rights and being able to fight in a way that they knew how. I will continue to do that. I will continue to use my voice and continue to uplift this community, hoping that my podcast reaches the ears of not only Black Americans and what it looks like to do something and be great at something, but at the same time reaching the ears of many people and hopefully grabbing their attention in a way that, dang, he's really good. Dang, I love listening to his podcast. You know, man, he might not have it all together all the time, but when he does, it's really a sight to see, you know? Just things like that. And then that's all. That's it. That's all. And that's all I've got for Black News. I thank you for taking time to listen to the podcast episode of The Talking Block with your podcast host, Nate. Be sure to listen on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Radio Public, wherever you get your audio podcast from. Stay here on YouTube, The Talking Block Live. Follow me on Instagram at the.talking.block. Also follow me on TikTok, toast.do.becoming, because TikTok is still here. That's if you have TikTok. If you don't have TikTok, I apologize. My bad. You know, nobody told you delete the app, you know, because they were working on it. But, I mean, things happen. And for some people, they just wanted to get rid of that addiction. So kudos to you guys. But either way, find me somewhere. Of course, I can say that I know I don't have a lot of ways to reach me, but if you can, there's a comment section under Spotify. Go to Spotify, comment under there. Again, direct message me on Instagram, direct message me on TikTok. I'm pretty sure I'll see it. I'm not that famous, so I have no reason not to see it. I might not answer, but doesn't mean I won't not look at it. So please give me updates, even in the comments on under YouTube. Give me some. What do you guys want to see? What do you guys want to hear? Things like that. Who do you possibly want me to talk to? I can always figure out something, whether that be a police officer, firefighter, car dealership man. Honestly, I'm open to all ears. I'm a local and community-based podcaster. Even if I do become famous, it's never going to take sight of I'm a local community-based. I want to indulge in the community and share culture, share stories, share experiences. And that's the point of the Talking Block. Toast to becoming, TTB. If I can change one mind, that mind will change another. Those minds change me more, but can change mine. That's it. That's all. See you guys next time.